to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm jamildamji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am pacemorby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember, when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show! Black shirt guy.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 163. Is it 63? Matt just got rid of it. Welcome. My name is Brent Daniels. I'm here with jamildamji, the king of wholesale. I'm here with Steve Trang, the king of sales, and I'm here with pacemorby, the king of everything else.
Whatever's left for it.
I'm excited. We're excited to have you on here, Steve. This is really, it was, you just got back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And you're here on Wholesale Hotline. And we have the most incredible live audience of all time here. Can we get some
What's up? This is different.
There we go. Isn't that cool?
How neat. We got young people here interested in real estate investing.
I love it.
Two Canadians.
All right.
Two Canadians ready to leave Canada to become full-time real estate investors in the United States.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a path that's already been laid out. Yeah.
I know someone that's done that.
DM you because I get a lot of DMs from Canadians.
You can't wholesale igloos.
Okay, but can you wholesale mooses?
Mice?
Mice.
Meese?
What do you guys call them up there?
Moose. Meese. No. Plural moose. So more than one moose, I believe, are meese.
Okay.
I think it's still moose.
Can you wholesale in Canada? It's called skip transfer.
Skip transfer, yes.
Skip transfer.
Wholesale in Canada. Here's the only difficulty in Canada.
Lending.
No, it's not lending. Well, yes. First, private money, hard money, isn't legal in Canada.
Really?
Yes, you can't do private. Well, you can do private money loans, but the rates that would make private money loans worthwhile are
Like
usury.
20+? Oh.
No, it's considered usury in Canada, so the rates are too high, so they consider it loan sharking. Secondly, the way that we do non-recourse loans, or the way that you wholesale here, you can't get access to the data that you need to know to see how much something is worth. So
Non-disclosure?
Everything is non-disclosure in Canada. So you can't know how much the ARV of anything is. So it's very difficult to go and negotiate and put deals under contract and wholesale if you don't know how much stuff is worth. The only reason why I was successful at it was because I knew where my buyers would buy at, and I knew what price the developers would buy buildings from.
That's good training, though.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't matter.
Well,
what comps say.
Just raises the bar.
It doesn't matter what supply and demand says. That's it.
Yes.
If you look at everything, and I want all you guys to really understand this, the buyer determines value always. Yeah. Every single time. If you think that property is worth $50,000 and you want to be paid $30,000 for putting that deal together, that's what you determine is the value. Now, can I come in and negotiate higher than you guys? Absolutely. But if you're the one getting that and the seller wants to work with you, you determine the value. That's the problem. I think that's what the moral issue here that we've been discussing before the show is. People think that the market determines it, or appraisers determine it, or real estate agents determine it, or the government determines value of properties. It absolutely is not the case. A ready, willing, and able buyer determines value.
So I have this really great call I just did. Agent representing a seller.
Yes.
Okay, this is happening a lot, by the way. I'm kind of anti-agent right now. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm still licensed.
And this guy's still.
No. I'm totally okay with that, but I want to understand why.
Agents are not educated on even comping a cash deal,
That
let
is
alone
true.
representing creative finance. So
That
in
is true.
December, there's a seller. Agent on a very prestigious team, Brent Tanner's team. I will say his name out loud.
Okay.
That probably it's not him, it's somebody on his team.
Okay.
Prestigious team. Gets a house appraised.
Yep.
$500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agent tells the seller, I can sell this house in 2 weeks.
In this market right now, or on a retail
In
deal?
December, on a retail deal.
Okay.
Based on the appraisal.
It's pretty bold.
Okay.
2 weeks later, did the house sell?
Nope.
2 months later, did the house sell?
Nope.
Okay, but the seller moved out of the property based on what the agent told him
Mm-hmm.
to he took a job in Indianapolis. So now he's got 2 payments. He's got his rent payment there, and he's got a house payment here that's a vacant property.
Sure.
Every
But
month.
that's easy for people.
Oh, it's
I mean,
easy.
people have a lot of disposable income.
I heard the other day that the majority of Americans are $400 emergency away from filing bankruptcy, like 60%.
Listen, the average American from January to October pays interest and taxes. That's it.
Yes.
Interest and taxes.
And I took my kids to Target today, and it cost me $650 for nothing.
What the frick did you guys have him buy, Charisma? Jizzing. Anyway, so here's
Nothing.
here's the point to the story. So agent goes to the third month, fourth month. Now we're in the 5th month. The agent is now starting to work because now he's about to lose this listing
Mm-hmm.
that has been going on for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I call the seller directly. Okay. Why? Well, because now the seller's in foreclosure because he can't handle 2 payments.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I hear an agent, I'm not an agent. I don't have a dog in the fight. I am anti-agent when I hear this kind of stuff. But when agents say stuff like wholesalers are this or wholesalers are that, I'm like, I have heard more lies from licensed real estate professionals than I've heard from wholesalers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't have to flinch.
Okay. So this is what happens. Seller says to me when I get on the phone with him, I go, "What are you guys listed at?" And he goes, "Well, I'm appraised at 500."
That means nothing.
Who cares?
And I said, "What are you listed at?" And he says, 425.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Have you received an offer?" And he says, "Yeah, but it's total bullshit." And I go, "What's the offer?" He says, "Open Door gave us an offer at 350." And I go, "There's your value."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Open Door just determined your value because, like Brent said,
Mm-hmm.
the agent only has a license to lie to you and a license to steal from you. I'm sorry. You can quote that, put that on my Instagram, put that on anybody else's Instagram. I will fight any agent in the back alley. It is total bullshit.
I feel like I'm sitting next to Andrew Tate.
What is going on right now?
This was Steve. By the way, I didn't tell you. Hey, we're gonna invite Steve Trang on today's Wholesale Hotline. We're just gonna ambush this guy.
This is the Vietnam War right here.
You just came back from Vietnam. You're still there.
Yeah, I didn't go to Nam for this.
So my point is, you get, like Brent made a great point. So this is what I tell the seller. I said, "Great. So you still have that appraisal, right? You have that?" Like he goes, "Yeah, I have it right here."
Great.
I go, "Call the appraiser and see if he'll buy it for $500,000."
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way that appraisal means anything.
Well, that's what the comps show, right?
Right?
That determines value.
Mm-hmm. No. Who
Ready,
determines
willing,
value?
and able buyer.
Not the agent. Not the agent.
Never.
But what about their broker?
Never.
What if they're a top producing agent that's well respected in the industry?
No.
They don't produce value.
Absolutely not.
But doesn't the government assess property values? Isn't that what a property's worth?
No.
No.
Right.
No.
So how do you address this? Because you're an agent, but you're a hybrid like unicorn agent. So how do you address this?
Well, I mean, you look at every time we talk about pricing, we always talk about it's an opinion. It's an opinion of value. Here's what I think we can sell it for, right? I think the problem you have is when the agent is overconfident and says, "Here's what I believe your house is worth." Like this right here is the price, like an expiration date on the milk. Right? Here's the goddamn expiration date right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not how it works. The price is not determined by any one individual prior to the house going under contract. And we even coach the homeowners, right? When we go under contract, there are 2 people's opinions that matter: the buyer and the appraiser.
Yeah.
Those are only 2 people's opinion that matter, right? So the agent has zero input. The only thing it does is kind of sets what's the word I'm looking for? It's an anchor, right? The list price is the anchor. That's about the extent. The appraisal really is worthless, especially in this day and age, right? Like if you look at the values just steadily declining, we have no idea how accurate or how up to date that appraisal is. So yeah, for me, and when we go through our sales training, the thing that I really push hard, because there's a lot of people that get into wholesaling, they have this idea of like price is so important, and we base it off of comps. And the thing I really push on is price is the only thing that matters in the absence of anything else, right? But none of us here live in the cheapest house in our city, right? None of us ride a bike to work, right? So clearly there are things that matter more than just money. And so when I would say for homeowners, it's certainty. It's certainty and peace of mind.
Sure.
Right? Knowing that after I sign this contract with Pace, that I don't have to worry about this mortgage payment ever again.
The deal is done.
The deal is done. I can go to bed. I can go to sleep, and all my problems are solved. That's what they want. That's what they're willing to pay for, and they're willing to pay for that in equity, right? And I think that's
speed, convenience, and price.
Yeah,
the sellers get to pick too.
Exactly. So yeah, I think as far as how do we handle the realtors, realtors cannot be so damn confident given the price. Go ahead.
There's also a piece like you said they pay for that in equity, but I almost exists yet, right? They don't, because equity is what's left over between like the deed of trust or like the mortgage, like how much is owed versus like what the current market is, right?
Yep.
So Steve, let's just say this. Today I wrote an offer on a property for $250,000. Okay, I think that is a decent price for me for buying this house, which is in complete original condition in Maryville.
Yeah,
I think with a pretty substantial risk and remodel, maybe $350,000 is the value with all of that risk.
Yep.
And money spent. So is there any equity even at $250 right now? No. Right. I don't think there's equity there. I think there's the potential to force equity. And I think that as wholesalers, we sell some of that potential off, but the equity is really not there. Are we really selling, or are we really getting equity from these sellers who are giving us the houses in original condition?
It's just price.
I don't necessarily believe that it's equity.
I mean, I think the equity there, I believe personally, is just is the wholesale fee. Like that's really the only equity that's there, right?
But
that's all.
Do you think that's equity, or do you think that's potential equity?
It's unrealized. It's unrealized gains, right? It's unrealized potential.
Unrealized. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah,
that's it.
Pace and Jamil being silenced.
Yeah, we've got. Can you guys hear me okay?
Here, I'll share with Brent. Yeah. I'll share a mic with Brent. Let's do that. There we go.
Boom. All right. Oh man, I gotta share more stuff.
How's this, guys? Can you guys hear me okay?
Hey, are we good here now, guys?
Check.
Do we really need to hear Pace? I think we heard enough.
You heard enough of me. I just straight up. I'm sorry. I just shit all over the whole studio. I'm so sorry.
Guys, put your questions in the chat. We've got master sales trainer here, Steve Trang. We've got an audience full of real estate investors. We got Brent Daniels, pacemorby, jamildamji in the house. We want to hear all of your wholesale or real estate related questions. Happy to answer. Still hard to hear.
How to get a deal today, okay? I'm going to say how to get a deal today. Right now. You want a deal right now. Like within an hour. Where am I going? I'm not going to an agent. You know where I'm going? Expired listing that has been expired twice. 2 different agents. They've hired 2. This is happening like crazy right now.
Absolutely.
What?
Just hold.
Those are worse at distance.
It's a condenser mic.
Oh.
When you're talking, bring close.
Dang it. Okay, so we're sharing them today. Yeah. Got it. Okay. So you want a deal today. Expired listings, you'll get a deal today. If you make 100 calls today, you'll get an expired listing contract today. Today. Seller's already upset. The market has already told them the market for 6 months told them your house isn't worth what you think it is. The house isn't worth what you think it is. So by the time you get to that seller, by the way, no agent involved, because that's the other problem. Getting an agent involved only convolutes the whole conversation. Now, long term, you need agents in your business. You have to. But if I want a deal today, I'm not going to an agent, me personally. And I'm saying this because today's Q&A. So I want to get some questions in the side chat about getting some deals and all that stuff. But I'm saying right now, if I want a deal, I'm going to go to a very small list. There's only 40 people on this list, and it's people in the last 30 days that have had their listings canceled for the second time in the last 12 months.
So would you though feel that the fact that they went through 2 agents and both contracts expired, do you feel that that seller may have an unrealistic expectation of price, that two agents couldn't do it and they weren't able to get the price low enough in order for the house to trade?
Yes. But also they had an unrealistic expectation when they listed the house at the price they
Right.
listed
The second realtor really had the
hard
ball.
job.
They had a hard job, but they also had the opportunity to be honest.
Right.
Right. They did have that moment where they could have said, listen, you have this house listed and it was listed for the last 6 months at $500,000. And ma'am or sir, this house isn't trading at $500,000. This house might trade at $350,000.
Right.
If you're going to really ask me my opinion of value here or where I think this house moves at. So there's a part of me that feels that that second expiration happened because we've got a real, like, just
I think what it is
stubborn
that,
seller.
I think what it is that the seller, yes, you're 100% right. I think the other thing is that the seller is blaming the agent, which happens a lot of times when their house doesn't move because sellers don't understand real estate, and the first agent didn't do a good enough job explaining to them, hey, the market's trending downward. I just want you to know. Market is trending downward. The interest rates just went up 3 days ago again. They're going to go up again while you're listed. And I think a lot of agents don't actually take the time to watch and see what's going on with the market.
Because agents
want
the listing.
They want the listing.
And then they want to beat up sellers until they get to the price that it
gonna
causes
hold
to
that.
sell.
I want Steve to reply to this in just a second. But here's what I'm saying. The second agent, now the seller goes, all right, I think the second agent's going to do a better job because I think the problem was the first agent. So the second agent comes across, has the opportunity to be honest, and actually, you know who gets to beat up the first contractor that failed is the second contractor. You ever hire a second contractor? Oh, man, I don't know what this guy was doing here. I don't know what this guy's doing here. Well, he used that lumber? Oh, my gosh. That's how it is when a second agent comes in and is like, what the heck was it? They didn't do this? They didn't give you a seller net sheet? They didn't give you this? Meanwhile, no agent actually uses a seller net sheet, even though they should. So I think now they have no more excuses. The seller has no more excuses, nobody else to blame. The market has told them straight up, with two agents, your house is not worth what it is. You want to get a creative deal today, wholesale it for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. We just paid a $27,000 assignment fee on a 0 down, 0% seller finance deal. You make big money right now on those deals. Second listing failing.
Yeah, I think to Brent's point about the realtors getting listings, right? So you kind of go through this evolution when you first get into real estate, right? Like, man, if I can just get a contract, that'd be awesome, right? And then when you start working with sellers, like, man, if I can just get listings, this would be great. And after a while, you realize, wow, listings don't cut it. I actually need houses to sell to get paid. And so I look at realtors that get listings without a realistic seller getting a price that's priced to sell, the same exact way as a wholesaler gets a contract that's completely unrealistic, right? Yeah. Right. I'm gonna get a contract at 90% ARV because I got a signed contract. I'm feeling good about myself. I went out there, I did the work, and I couldn't sell it. I'm gonna call Keegley.
You did what work?
I'm gonna call.
You
Keegley.
basically just lied to a seller. You know, completely gave an unrealistic promise. Now you're gonna be having to.
But to be fair to
Yeah.
the wholesaler and the agent, the number one thing that I feel like they're missing is the ability to comp.
Yes.
And so what's happening is the wholesaler and the agent who were never educated on how to comp. I would even argue that most brokers who bring agents into their brokerage don't know how to comp.
I would agree with you
and
there.
so oh, hell yeah. And then
not you, but that's a real thing.
Bro, you're a unicorn. And you made a really great point. They are trained to go get what? A listing. Go get listings. Go do open houses. Go do listings. Go get open houses. Go do listings. Go get open houses. At no point are they sitting in the brokerage going, that listing you just signed today is not going to sell because of blah, 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 blah. They're just go, great job on the listing. So wholesalers should be learning what, Jamil? What's the first thing you should be learning as a wholesaler?
1,000,000% without a doubt, the most important person in any wholesale business is the underwriter, the person who understands how to comp and value properties. That is it. Yeah. That is it. It's the only reason why I've had any success in this business. Absolutely. So much so that when Steve had a house under contract, when Steve had a house that he had bought, he had thought he had squeezed all the money out of a house, right? But he didn't. I did.
What year was this?
What year was that? 2016?
2012, 2013. Yeah, much It was. I don't think it was 2016. Maybe it was, but
I
yeah.
can't remember.
But I do remember when Jamil reached out to me on a property. I was like, "How the hell did Jamil sell this for more than I could on the MLS?" This
is my point about what David Green said very irresponsibly on Bigger Pockets, is that he says that in most cases, the agent's going to get more money, and I'm looking at expired listings all over the country, foreclosures all over the country, foreclosures that are they're listed foreclosures, and the agents can't sell them. Meanwhile, a wholesaler comes in and gets it done.
Well, there's listed properties on the market that are in rough shape. Let's just set the table here a little bit. We're not talking about beautiful, remodeled, beautiful homes that were just built in the last 5 years. We're talking about homes that have had 100 million cigarettes smoked in them, okay? We're talking about homes that have 24 to 48 pets living inside the homes. We're talking about properties that haven't had glass in the windows for 18 years. Okay, we're not talking about these beautiful, should be listed on the market. You know what happens when properties that are like that go and hit the market? They get 50 offers at like $1. They do. This is why real estate agents don't like listing really rough properties, because you have to respond in Arizona, right? You have to keep all of those contracts that were submitted for a year, non-executed for a year. The ones that are executed, 5 years. Am I right?
Absolutely right.
Explain that.
So if you put an offer on a property that's on the MLS or represented with an agent, and it is not accepted, they have to keep that contract for a year. They have to scan it in. They have to put it inside of their database.
That wasn't accepted.
That wasn't accepted. Okay?
None of them do this.
None of them do this.
Not a single
None of them
one.
do this. None of them do this. But legally, they are charged to do that.
Wow.
Absolutely. If they get audited, then they get audited, right? And so.
How can I push the envelope on that?
But what I'm saying is
there somebody I can call, like a commissioner or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Arizona Department of Real Estate, and if you do feel that you have been railroaded or bamboozled by an agent who was supposed to present an offer of yours and they didn't present it to a seller, all you need to do is email. You send one email, copy the agent, copy the Arizona Department of Real Estate, and the agent's broker, and watch hell break loose.
That's going to be my next YouTube video next week. I'm doing this 100%. I'm calling the commissioner. I'm going to show people how to do this. Are you kidding me?
That's it.
Okay, before you go on with your point.
Yeah.
So how have we never talked about this?
One last thing. The other sentence you need to have in your email and say, I hope you have good E&O insurance.
That's error and omissions, in case you guys don't know.
6 properties last year we bought in the middle of evictions. Six properties in the middle of evictions. We bought 4 properties last year that had tenants in there that had not paid rent forever. No access, no ability to show it, no pictures, sight unseen. Who else is going after these properties?
Not someone getting an
Who
FHA
else?
mortgage.
Not they can't get. You can't get conventional financing on any of these properties.
No.
And then all of a sudden, oh wait, cash buyers actually mean something. Cash buyers that have to take risk with all of their own funds to go out there and get smoking deals, and that's not moral?
I'm not saying it's immoral. David Green, we need to have you on Wholesale Hotline. We need to have a conversation about this.
Yeah, I mean, it was an
irresponsible comment.
It's irresponsible first and foremost because, again, this is the assumption that hey, A, real estate agents don't know what they're doing. B, that the MLS is somehow the end all and be all of where investors operate and where people buy. The other thing about this, dude, is that the houses that we're talking about are very rarely financeable. That means that these real estate agents can't attract the right buyer on the MLS because the MLS is retail buyers with retail loans. They can't even close on these houses because they're not in a financeable shape.
Yeah, we had someone complaining, someone else making the same point, like, these flippers are ruining, these houses for first-time home buyers, right? Like, they're overpricing the market, and it's like, but this first-time home buyer can't come in and paint and deal with the cabinets, deal with the contractors. Like, just even think about how many people we know have lost money just because of the contractors, right? So you're expecting a first-time home buyer to not come up with a 3.5%, which is sometimes already a struggle, then the closing costs, and then paying a contractor and then managing that contractor, this whole transaction. Most people can't handle the stress of managing another person, let alone asking a first-time home buyer while they're living in a house to have a contractor come through.
Such a great point. Here's another thing, too, we got to point out. You're pointing out some really good stuff. I have never competed with an agent on a deal. Right. Never once. I've never done a deal, probably 1,000+ wholesale deals in my career. I've never done one that should have gone through an agent and gotten more money. No. Everyone had a situation, a lien, a tenant, some damage to the property. It was impossible for them to list. And what happens is end buyers, Steve, have the vision to walk into a house and go, oh, I can get this at a great deal and move in here with my wife, Betty. And after we pay for all the renovations, like Steve's pointing out, I also have the ability to furnish the property.
Do they have that Service Pro account at Home Depot?
Hell no. And they're going out and getting loans where they're getting 3.5% down and down payment assistance. And you're telling me that they can buy a property that a wholesaler shouldn't have sold, it should have gone through an agent? Kiss my ass.
I have had these appointments, Pace. This is the first 3 years of my adventure in wholesaling, was giving them two options. You can list it here, or you could sell it cash here. If you list it here, the way to get the most for it is it needs to be financeable. Mm-hmm. You need to paint. You need to clean up. You need to, fix the plumbing. There can't be an active leak. The roof has to be patched. You're not going to get finance. To get the most out of this property would be to get financing, because people don't have a tremendous amount of cash to be able to purchase. So you need to be able to do all these things. Every time they went with a cash as is offer. Every time.
It happens all the time. But I want to point out, guys, is that, look, with respect to, I understand that there's agents that are good, there are agents that are not, there are wholesalers that are good, there are wholesalers that are not, but we, in order for us to really understand the power of the wholesaler real estate agent relationship, we have to look at it in its best form. Right? Because, look, of course, there's going to be all kinds of relationships that are going to fall in the middle, and there's going to be the crummy ones. But if you look at the example, like, the relationship I had with you, when you were a licensed agent, I was buying from, the relationship I had with you as a licensed agent when I was buying from you, when I buy deals through Monique and the rest of the agents that I work with, these are people that have taken the time to understand the utility of individuals like you and I, of individuals like the people that are in our audience. They understand. Look, they're not the answer always. They're the answer occasionally. Mm-hmm. And knowing when to pull out, hey, I have a cash solution. I have a creative solution. If you have resources, maybe you want to renovate and go full. But the real estate agent that equips themselves with all of the solutions and then in an honest way presents all of the solutions to their client and lets the client choose, symphony of good, solid fiduciary behavior.
Right. And if you look at the 2 episodes we did with Monique Walker, she is the perfect example of a perfect real estate agent. She I don't know how much more she makes on the wholesale side.
Lots.
But she's realized, like you said, the utility.
Yes.
She says, man, my offers to list are like a Phillips screwdriver.
Right.
And the wholesale is like a flathead. Sometimes you're going to use one and sometimes you're not going to use the other.
Right.
But if I'm a contractor and I have both tools, I'm going to end up making way more money and be way more efficient. If you figured out how to get that lead in the freaking first place, how dare you, as a business owner, walk out of there going, man, I sucked at getting the listing. You didn't even present all the options.
Right.
Because where my frustration comes from is that when David Green, who is a head of this real estate industry at Bigger Pockets, by the way, the largest podcast in real estate, says that a valuable tool is immoral and skirts the line of legalities, that's the most irresponsible thing from somebody who is at the top of the top. If some knucklehead agent that just got their license said that, I go, okay, do some work and we'll talk in 5 years. But when somebody as a leader of our industry says what they said, that just tells me you don't understand, and you don't understand collaboration. Because I love working with agents that understand the utility.
And I think it's an education. I think it's I don't think that David has met people who do business the way that we do.
James Daner, Jimmy.
Is he not a Bigger Pockets personality?
He absolutely is.
Then how is that? How is that even possible?
Maybe
What I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is that we should all. I keep saying kiss my ass, okay? But really, I'm frustrated.
It's frustrated. We talked about it this morning. It's been frustrating me all day.
The thing is that I'm watching the bridge between Bigger Pockets and the wholesale world and the creative world start like getting clearer. There's no line. Like people are starting to collaborate and collaborate and collaborate. Everybody's trying to educate themselves. But when the leader of an organization, he is the face of that entire organization, says something so irresponsible, it tells me that there is no desire to even understand the other side. And so here we are, have an agent here and another agent here that are telling us the reasons. And I love working with agents and I love working with wholesalers. I don't love working with wholesalers that refuse to learn how to comp. And I don't love working with agents that refuse how to also comp. But I do love working with agents and wholesalers that are trying to move this direction. Have you guys found out that I'm frustrated yet?
Yeah. So when I actually started Real Estate Disruptors, if you guys look at the first 10 episodes, I actually alternated between wholesalers and realtors, right?
Yeah.
And the idea was that we can marry these two communities because we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to serve the homeowners.
Yeah.
And what I found out was they actually don't like each other. Realtors don't like wholesalers. Wholesalers don't like realtors. I am glad now in 2023, what you're saying is spot on, right? This is starting to blur together. So I'm at Real Brokerage, right? And I talked to one of the leaders at Real, and they have a wholesaling addendum, right? An addendum for. Do I need to move?
No, you're good. I'm just gonna switch this real quick. I can hear it on the stream, but we're testing a couple things. Make it a little better.
Yeah. So they have a wholesaling addendum, which basically says hey, you can't wholesale at Real unless you've proven that you know how to wholesale.
Right.
Right. And so and she talked to me as I was asking her what was the purpose of this addendum. She says we fully recognize that this is what's happening with our industry. That realtors are starting to wholesale and wholesalers are starting to get licensed. We just want to make sure that the people that are licensed at our brokerage are wholesaling with the correct information in place, right? And so that's something that's changing, that's evolving. But 5 years ago,
They can't hear him? Matt, they can't hear him.
all right, well, I'm gonna forget all that.
Made it even worse.
Hopefully, they can read lips.
As an agent, my buyers can't look past ugly car. Yeah, I know. No, and listen, there's a lot of knuckleheads out there. We have run across people that lock up properties with property owners. They have big SEO and pay-per-click budgets.
Yeah.
They'll lock up every single deal at exactly what the property owner wants, and they'll file a memorandum.
Yeah.
And then they won't cancel the deal. They'll just disappear, right? And then we come along with a price that will actually cause it to sell, and they want $10,000 to release the memorandum.
Right.
I understand that part. If people are talking about some of that stuff going on, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But what I think what traditional real estate has to understand is we're doing our best collectively to make sure that people really understand the process of, is this a deal or not a deal?
Yeah.
And I think that's what really frustrates Jamil a lot is figure out how to comp, figure out what offer you should have, and present that and be a truth teller and a truth seeker, and don't just try to lock up things and beat people up on price because the competition is offering more than you.
This is a challenge in the construction world, okay?
Yeah.
Contractors will underbid other contractors with a plan to say, I'm just going to lock in the contract on the renovation, and then I'm going to change order my customer to death. Okay, so while other contractors are coming in with an honest price, it scares off the consumer. So what that does is it creates an ecosphere where contractors that are willing to be dishonest are the ones that are getting the jobs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with agents. And I feel for the agents that go in and they're honest, and the wholesalers that go in and they're honest. Okay? This is why follow-up is so important in wholesale, is because people will go, I just told a story about a deal, wholesaler locks it up the day I'm locking it up. And I'm like, hey, no problem. And I tell my team, I go, just keep following up. They go, they sold the deal. I go, no, they didn't. We don't know what they locked it up as.
Yeah.
Follow up, follow up, follow up. The chances are it's a brand new wholesaler that didn't tell them the truth and just got a contract to get a contract. It's the same thing with expired listings. So in some way, I'm super grateful because now they're doing the hard work for me and I come in as the savior on all sides. But my gosh, I just wish we could collectively work together, but there's always those handful of people that will undercut an agent. There's agents that will work against other agents. Go, I don't know what that agent's telling you. I can sell this house in 2 weeks. Have you ever seen that?
Of course we've seen it. I mean, this is the same exact thing. Just like the wholesaler that can't comp, we got agents that overpromise, right? I mean, I got an appraisal in hand, $500,000, right? For sure, this is what we can sell for. I can say this with absolute certainty. This house is going to sell for $500,000. So yeah, we see this a lot with realtors consistently overpromising on the price and willing to do it for a lot less money. That was the other challenge, right? Willing to always cut their commission.
I think that when a real estate agent makes a promise to a seller that they can sell a house for a specific price, at the end of the listing agreement, that agent should buy it.
That was my unique selling proposition, right? That was your home sale guaranteed,
you were doing that.
or I'll buy it.
Yeah.
They should buy it.
That's how I got into wholesaling.
And I truly believe that agents, if they're going to make a representation of, hey, I can get you this, if they're making the representation, then put your money where your mouth is and close. Yeah. Otherwise, don't be the jabroni.
What's the business model there?
So
for you as the agent?
As an agent, so the way I had it written was that I will sell your house for, let's just say, $300,000, right? At that time, prices were a lot lower, right? If I can't sell your house for $300,000, then I would deduct it 10%, right? And I would still get my commission from that 90%. So I was basically buying it for about 83% of market value. It's actually, again, how I got in wholesale.
Did you ever have to do that?
I got pretty close once. So the model was basically, I would start off at 100%, right? So going back to 300K. So I would start off at 300K, and then after 30 days, we would agree to a predetermined price drop, right? So after 30 days, we drop at 3%, right? So we're at 291. Another 30 days, drop another 3%. Another 30 days, drop another 3%. And at that point, if it can't sell, then I will buy it at that price.
I see.
But it had to be a price that was realistic. It was my opinion of value.
Well, listen,
It was not
72 sold.
Pace's opinion of value.
72 sold, right?
Yeah.
What's their model?
Right? Here's their model. We'll buy your house in 72 hours.
I'm not sure that's their model.
75% of value. If not, we can list it for you. We're awesome at selling it top dollar.
Yeah.
It's just a marketing ploy. They spend $3 million in Arizona a month.
What?
$3 million a month, and saying we'll buy your house. 72 sold. It's going to be great. And then they sell the leads to agents.
Yeah. It's a great business model. That guy's a genius. I'm a little bit jealous.
And it's going to be nationwide.
Let's start 69 sold. Let's do 69 sold. I mean,
It's
71
faster.
sold. 71 sold. Sorry. It's fast. We're faster. We'll take care of you. So what's the downfall of that model? Like where do they have to eat crow if they can't sell the property?
Well, that's the guaranteed price, right? They'll give you a guaranteed price.
75%.
Right. Or lower.
Where they eat crow is that they spent millions of dollars a month and they get all these listing leads in this environment. Those listing leads are not quite as valuable as they were 18 months ago, right?
Sure.
18 months ago, that lead was gold. Today, not so much, right? So, in those commercials, at least earlier versions of the commercial was not only can I sell your house in 72 hours, I can sell your house for above market value in 72 hours.
Let me ask. I just wonder if people are on the fence of, you're giving these property owners too low of prices and you're stealing equity, right? So if you went in with, this is the cash purchase, this is what you could put it on the market for, and they decided that they wanted the cash purchase, is that moral? Is it now moral?
Every deal I've done with Monique Walker and other agents are following that, where she says, guys, look, there's three options here. There is as-is value, which is if you get the house financeable, maybe I could sell it here. There's after-repair value. If you did a nice $70,000 or $80,000 remodel, this is where I think your house sells. And then there's Jamil's cash buy price.
Yeah.
Your decision.
So here's how I got into this, right? I used to believe price was the only thing that mattered. I used to believe that. And what changed for me was having these homeowners bully me into buying their houses for cash, right? Because it was your home sold guarantee, I'll buy it, right? Now, I want the cash offer today. It's like, no, you don't. The cash offer today, you'll walk away with less money. It's like, yeah, but I want the cash days. Okay, maybe I didn't explain it right. Okay, so if we list it,
Speed, convenience, and price.
if we list it, you will walk.
They're trying to talk them out of a wholesale deal, and they're talking you into it.
I was like, no, you're losing money here. And they're like, I want a cash buyer. I want a cash price day. So I was like, all right. I gave them a cash offer. They bullied me into buying their houses. I got bullied into buying so many houses. I had to have Jamil wholesale the houses for me.
That's it.
That was the situation I was in.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
You're getting taken advantage of.
I was
Steve.
the victim
I
there.
didn't take advantage of him.
No.
Yeah, these wholesalers are
Yeah.
taking all my equity.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Does that work?
I don't know. Does this guys? Can you hear me? On my
I
mic?
think it's only the Androids that can't hear us.
Oh, is it?
Every
Yeah, a lot of-
We're gonna go in our-
StreamYard issue. All I did was toggle the audio saves to StreamYard over and over until it started working. It's literally a digital issue.
Can everybody hear
Perfect.
me or no?
There's one question I think we absolutely have to ask.
I guess no.
It's Dan Irish's question. He wants to know, Steve, when you eat crow, do you eat it with chopsticks?
I mean, if I had to, yeah, why not? Chopsticks are great.
Just playing. This was a question. It was a real question. Thank you, Dan Irish, for your very racist question.
Chopsticks are wonderful.
Okay,
Just playing,
rates
just
just
playing,
went up. Yeah. Okay, again, they're gonna come. They're gonna continue to go up more. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for wholesaling? Can I start? It's the best thing on the planet Earth. I am praying I think the rates are going up because God is answering my prayers. I love that rates are going up. For me, we bought, and just in the last 2 weeks, we bought 21 rentals, sub 2.
We have to talk louder, baby.
You have to have me talk louder?
It's a StreamYard issue, guys. It's not the mic.
It's not.
Sorry, man.
It's not Matt. It's a StreamYard issue. Okay. All right. So I think it's a great thing. We're buying a lot of rentals, sub 2 seller finance. I'm at a point where I won't even look at something unless it starts with a 3%. If somebody sends me a deal at 4%, I won't even look at it.
Okay.
Getting showered in opportunities. People handing me their keys. 0%, all that kind of stuff. People have no equity. People that are being forced to move for jobs, divorce, relocation, for whatever reason, are like, take my house. Agent couldn't sell it. For me, I want the rates to continue to go up because it doesn't change the asset class of the mortgages that were all locked in between 2018 and 2022.
Yes.
What about you guys?
Rates being increased is not affecting us at all. Just to give you guys an understanding, every flip right now that we have on the market under contract. Okay. Key Glee, as of today, I'm just going to share with you guys information I probably shouldn't be, but yep. Yeah. But whatever, I own the company, so I can do whatever I want.
Matt, can you hear my mic?
All right, so as of today, we're at 53 deals for the month, with an average of $14,686 per deal. Okay, and today we sold 5 more houses. Right, so that's going to get us to. We will by the end of the month be at about 65 transactions for the month, which is great.
Phenomenal.
Right, we've got a lot of investor activity.
Arizona only.
That's Arizona, Texas, and Florida. My corporate stores only, not my franchises. Okay. So what does that tell us? That tells us investor activity is through the roof, up. Retail activity is also starting to fall. Investors only start pulling the trigger when they start seeing that the retail side is really moving, right? So I think, guys, that the sticker shock that the retail buyer saw 6 months ago, it kind of has worn off a little bit, and they're like, we just got to play in the new norm. So they are now moving back into the market. Also, the really smart agents are telling their retail buyers, look, you actually right now have one of the most incredible opportunities to go in and buy at a discount. Like, you can actually get seller concessions. You can have sellers do things for you right now that they won't be able to do for you in 6 months. When we start creeping back towards not 6 months, but let's just say in the next 12 months, I believe rates will creep back down towards 5% in about a year. Towards 5, not 5, towards 5. Okay. When rates creep back towards 5%, I think that we're going to have one of the most insane booms in real estate ever again. If we thought that the run-up of 2022 was big, wait till you see the run-up of 2024.
Yeah. So I would say for me, I got, like I said, I was gone for a couple of weeks, so I got to go back and look at the data. But would have been really nice is if we didn't have a couple of bank failures. That would have been really nice, right? Because we had this new norm, right? After a year, okay, this is the new normal. It's not great. It's not as good as it was a couple of years ago, but this is the new normal. Everything's okay. And we started getting a certain amount of certainty. Mm-hmm. Now with the bank failures, we've got this new level of uncertainty. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I am completely oblivious because I literally just got back this weekend.
Can I poll the audience real quick?
Yeah.
Average historical interest rate. Do you know what it is?
6%. I'm gonna guess 6 to 7%.
6.5. Huh? 8. 7.75. From 1971 to 2023, 7.75. What is it right now? Do we know? Anybody?
It's a little over 6. If
right?
you go get quoted right now,
So it's less than historic.
You can't quote the Fed. You can't quote the Fed rate. You have to quote what the mortgage
Right.
companies are giving you, which is
ARV.
it's over 7%.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
We're on.
So we're average.
Investor rates are like 8.5%, 9% right now.
Right.
Yeah, but homeowners.
I thought they
we're
creeped
average.
down a little bit recently. No.
Rates just went up.
I think you got to be careful though when you're looking at historic rates, because I think one of the things you got to look at is people don't buy based off of price. They don't buy like
We're a payment society.
Yeah. They don't pay. Oh, that house is obviously $550,000. Like that's not how they buy.
Yeah.
They buy entirely
Remember
based.
$1 million houses when we were like 10? They were like mansions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were like the biggest house. It was like Beverly Hills. You're like, oh my gosh,
Like I have people
that's $1
say
million
like,
house.
I used to pay 16% interest. Like, yeah, but your house is like $40,000.
Right.
Right. So if you look at interest rates, I think this is one piece of the puzzle. Is really what they can afford.
Yeah.
Right. And so now is what am I willing to tolerate? So for a payment of $2,000, this is what I was able to get before. Now I can get this, and now it's this. And the question is, am I willing to wait? But to Jamil's point, which I think is a fantastic point, is right now you can get below asking price. You can get concessions. You can do. You can ask for all sorts of repairs. Like remember a couple of years ago, hey, I want this house fixed. No. I need you to waive inspections.
Dude,
I need you to waive appraisal.
Pace was showing me some of his Binzer responses when people were asking for him to do things. He was just like, haha, nope.
This is what I told Laura to list my properties as.
Yeah.
All my flips in 2021, 2022.
Yes.
Seller is hypersensitive to repair requests. If a single repair request is asked for, consider this listing or consider our escrow canceled. And so she calls every time they submit an offer. She goes, hey, I just want to let you know I'm so sorry about this.
You're screaming in the background.
Tell that person.
Sensitive.
So she goes, how do I convey this in my listing? I go, tell them I'm hypersensitive. Yeah. And she's like, really? You want me to? I go, what's the word? They will buy anything in that market. You could, dude. There were houses you guys sold. You guys sold me a house in a cul-de-sac in Scottsdale. And it took us 4 months longer than we thought. People stole everything from the properties, like all the things that could go wrong on a property. We still made $50,000 net more than I planned.
Right.
With all the things, because the market was going up and I didn't have to fix a single thing.
Yeah.
The inspector, the home inspector, the 50 pages comes in. Here's all the 50 pages. We were like, yeah, we're not doing a single thing. They go, great. Can we close tomorrow? It's not like that right now.
No. But oddly enough, I just sold a deal in Maryville on a fix and flip that appraised for $20,000 above list today. $20,000 above list. An appraiser giving us $20,000 above list. I mean, that's that. And also, I know rates went up, but when the Fed also signaled that they're not going to do any more rate hikes they did this last raise of a quarter point, but they also signaled that, hey, rate hikes are going to start kind of freezing, and because they couldn't not raise rates this time without sending signals that the banking system was dramatically impaired. So they had to raise rates to kind of let people know, no, the banking system is good, but we're also not going to raise any more rates after this. So I think actually what ended up happening was mortgage rates, not the Fed rate, but mortgage rates kind of dipped a little bit since. And I don't know if they've kind of rebounded back up or not, but like Can anybody tell me today what's the 30-year fixed? Can you pull that up?
There you go. Anaphylactic shock.
Hey, Sam Singh, I will buy that deal in Henderson, Nevada. I'm looking at it right now. I will buy it, but the renovation is much more than 15 grand, but I will still buy it. So send me that's the photo. Yeah. When you were looking at that, you're like 15 grand.
Okay.
Come on, Sam. You're smart. I love you, Sam. Sam, sell me the deal. I'll take it. It's 2.5% interest. 2.49% interest I just got.
That's great.
Great. Sell me the deal. Happy to do it. Thank you, Sam Singh. Appreciate you.
There was a great question there a moment ago for Jamil.
Yes.
It was from Josh.
How do you comp in non-disclosure states?
Really great question.
So comping in non-disclosure states will usually require you use a third, like a different platform. So for me, if I'm depending on what state you're in, I'm either going to go to Privy or I'm going to go to Batch Leads or PropStream. What's another third-party data source that they can go to for non-disclosure states? Privy is Privy, Batch Leads, and yeah, Privy.
Can you just squat up with an agent?
I mean, but do you really want to wait for an agent to respond to give you your numbers and all that? No, because they may not even know how to comp it themselves, right? So I would, if I'm really doing this business full time, I would be investing in something to help me comp in a non-disclosure state, right? At least one of those three tools will be satisfactory to you.
I'm constantly conditioned, though. My problem is I have to get over this whole thought process of how can I start this business with no money out of my pocket?
Yes.
Because I'm constantly answering questions from that thing of like, oh, how do you not even use a grain of sand to get started in this business?
Understood. Yeah. So squat up with somebody. Someone will help you.
That is an answer for somebody that is completely broke. That's the no excuse answer.
Right.
Okay. Go leverage somebody else's resources, but you got to do more work because you're not willing to pay for it.
Right.
But if you have $100, you can get access to all the data in your market.
So this is not necessarily the recommended route for everybody, but this is 100% what I did. Is if you believe in yourself, you're going to bet on yourself. I maxed out my credit card, right? I mean, multiple times building my business, right? So if you're not willing to put $100 a month on your credit card, $200 to get Privy, I'm not really sure you're serious about this business. I mean, definitely if you're talking about no money out of pocket, I mean, are you guys not at least paying for gas? Are you guys not using your cell phone? Right? There's costs associated.
This is why Bigger Pockets challenged me to do, they go, you can't even have a cell phone and you can't even have $1 in your pocket and you have to start on a park bench, because they get people that go, okay, but they had a cell phone and I don't have those resources that Pace has. So I'm like, this challenge that I'm doing right now with Bigger Pockets is literally to quiet down the people that just come up with every freaking excuse in the book.
I think it's a great quote I heard from somebody else. Like, if you want to argue for all the reasons why you're going to fail,
fail already.
You can have them.
Yeah.
It's not my responsibility to convince you to be successful. Yeah. Right? It's your responsibility. Yeah.
So where did you do this challenge? Have you started the challenge?
It's done.
It's done.
I did it. They
And
gave me
where?
30 days here in Phoenix. So here's what I did.
You should probably not talk about it until it's released.
You sure?
Yeah. Legal says don't do it.
Okay.
Is this a book? Can you say
It's
that?
not a book. It's a YouTube
Is
video.
it a pamphlet?
No, it's a YouTube video. So I did.
Let's just say it's going to be an incredible video. You know Pace doesn't disappoint. It's going to be everybody who's watching this right now, hype this up, because it's going to be a phenomenal video as soon as it's released.
Here's what I thought of is like, what's the average wholesale turnaround? I start today, I get a deal within a week. Let's say I'm cranking, I get a deal within a week. I then sell that deal to a buyer within 2 or 3 days. And then that buyer closes escrow within 10 to maybe upwards of 20 days. So a quick turnaround time would be anywhere between 20 to 40 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told them, I was like, I can show you, I can get a deal and make money in the same day. In the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Deal, money in my pocket in less than 12 hours. So that's what I did. And we did it in 6.
That'll be a great video.
It will be a great video.
Where's the deal?
Deal's in Phoenix. It's a sub-2 deal.
Yep.
Seller hands me the keys. I can't tell you the story.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jamil's going to tattle on me.
Well, we've been saying David Green's name on this episode all day. I imagine that someone's going to
Please tell David Green that he needs to come on Wholesale Hotline,
Yes.
and we need to have it. We need to discuss.
We need to clear up the air. We just got to clear the air.
We need to clear the air. And honestly, I want to give examples of licensed real estate agents in the last 30 days. I will give you addresses. I will give you listings. I will give you proof and screenshots and names of agents that have lied to me and lied to their seller. I'm communicating with the seller. Guess what? I'm not an agent, so I can go directly to the seller. And the agent is lying to the seller behind his back, saying it's a lot. I will bring you proof. David Green, if you have proof of wholesalers doing things illegally, let's have a conversation. Give me the address. Give me the name of the wholesaler. I will give you the name, the listing, and the address of the property that agents are lying and not doing their fiduciary responsibility. And 5.5 months later, we're not able to sell their house on the market. I want you to apologize to the wholesale community that is trying to do nothing but collaborate with the Bigger Pockets community. That's all we're trying to do. We want to collaborate with you. We want to do business with you. It is not okay to do that.
I think from now on, I'm just going to call Pace Cobra Pace, right? So,
Am I making people feel uncomfortable? Is this
not at all.
okay?
Not at all. No, I love this. I love this.
I don't think it has anything to do with comfort. I think it has to do with the reality of the narrative, right? And the narrative is it's an antiquated narrative. It has been disproven over and over again by ethical people who do business with high morals that are trying to help folks, that literally bring nothing but solutions to the table. And
Bro, you just brought up a really great point.
Yeah.
Imagine going on a job site. Have you ever worked construction? Anybody? You look at your arms. You've worked construction. You've never worked construction? Who's worked construction in here? Okay. Have you walked on job sites where other subcontractors are also on the job site? And did you look at them and go, wow, this house could be built without you. Get the hell out of here? No, you didn't. They were the framing guy. You were the drywall. What did you do?
I'm the assistant superintendent.
Okay, so but you knew every single one of those tradesmen were needed on that house. And what I'm saying is that if you look at the house as the entire real estate industry, every single subset of us, cash buyers, wholesalers, even wholesalers who wholesale other wholesalers' deals, okay? Agents, brokers, title companies, closing attorneys, we need each other.
Yeah.
That's my point. And the thing is, agents' income is amplified by wholesalers, and wholesalers' income is amplified by agents. The whole narrative of wholesalers versus agents is the thing that I'm frustrated about.
Exactly.
It's
BS.
It's us versus the unethical people.
Yes.
It's not wholesalers versus agents.
Yes.
And when somebody like David Green, who I look up to and respect, if I look up to and respect him, how many other people look up to and respect him? That's my point. And I'm sitting there going, I work with a lot of agents, but I don't ever say this industry doesn't need agents. I say that this agent did something wrong and they should be educated properly.
Mm-hmm.
I say the same thing about wholesalers too. Wholesalers that use bad contracts, don't use EMD, right?
Record frivolous memorandums.
2018, we called up Fran. Fran had a rental property. Her tenants just moved out. We went to the property, and my acquisition manager at the time, Natasha, called and said, "You need to get down here. I don't know what's going on." And I was like, "Okay." So I went down there, and Fran was standing out there, as pleasant as can be, talking to Natasha. And Natasha goes, Fran here wants to sell us this house for $9,000. Okay? $9,000. I pull it up on Zillow and I show her it's $200,000 as his estimate. And it was $212. It was $212 as his estimate. And she goes, "Oh, honey, I know I could put it on the market right now and sell it for $200,000. I go, "Okay, have you sold houses before?" She said, "I've been a real estate broker for Century 21 for 20 years.
Wow.
Okay. She goes, and I go, "Well, then why are you giving me $191,000 worth of equity here?" Right. And she goes, "Oh, honey, I just want you to win. I'm going to sell this to an investor. It might as well be you."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk to her attorney, talk to her priest. I mean, everything. They were like, she's going to sell it. It's either to you or to somebody else.
Yeah.
Is that moral? Should I have accepted $9,000? Should I have bought that for $9,000?
Absolutely.
Because she
That's what
wanted to sell it for that?
That's That's what she wanted.
She was of sound mind. She wanted to do it.
Bro,
Of course.
if you go on my YouTube channel, I've got a foreclosure seller that I recorded the call with. Her name is, I can't remember now. My memory's slipping, but it's Stonebrook in Atlanta, Georgia. Jamari, you know Jamari. Jamari wholesales this deal to me. Follows up with the seller. Follows up with the seller. Follows up with the seller. After all these other wholesalers and agents kind of stopped reaching out to her, he's got 3 days before the foreclosure. He stops by one more time. She's in tears. He gets her under contract. And we stop the foreclosure. I buy the house subject to. Seller is a real estate agent. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. The seller is a real estate agent, a licensed real estate agent for 10 years. She said, I had no idea what to do. Tried listing the property, couldn't sell the property. Tried doing it with other agents, couldn't sell the property. Today, I'm going to toot my own horn. Today, the cash flow from that property for the last 2 months was a little over $12,000. I turned it into a midterm rental. It's crushing. It was Airbnb. I was barely breaking even. I switched it to midterm rental. It's doing really, really great. We got a big insurance booking for like 70 grand for 3 months. And I'm making like 11 grand per month for the next couple of months. Really great. So we took that money, bought a minivan, went and gave it away today. And the lady asked me, she's like, oh my gosh, what did I do to deserve this? And I said, I bought a house from an agent a year ago. I took it over. It's cash flowing really well. I want to give back. And somebody says to me, and they're like, why wouldn't the seller have just listed that property? I go, they were a listing agent. Like not everybody has the answers. Yeah. And the thing is, it's like what it is it's the collaborators and the non-collaborators. It's not the agents versus the wholesalers.
And a lot of these arguments are very oftentimes like, okay, hey man, you just spent $8 on a Big Mac at McDonald's. Don't you know that you could make a hamburger at your house for a lot less money? Right? Like, why would you ever go to a hamburger spot and pay more money than what you could cook your own hamburger for? Like, this is literally what that argument sounds like to me, right? Because you make flipping choices in the world. And sometimes that choice is, I like this person. I want this person I want to do business with this person. And I understand that when somebody buys something from me in a company name, that companies have a purpose to do what?
Make a profit.
Make money. So I'm choosing to let this person make money with me. Do you know that every car I've ever traded in, the company I traded my car into made money?
No.
Those evil people made money? Come on, get the hell out of here with that stupid argument that it's unethical to make money.
So I've only been sued a handful of times.
Oh, we're going there.
And
Can you talk about it?
That's the opening line to a book right there.
Yeah.
Dude. Are you kidding me?
so one of the times I got sued, and I won this lawsuit, right? I paid $18,000 in attorney fees to win, right? And it was a situation where I bought a house that was listed with a realtor, right? And I talked to the homeowner. I was like, it's listed with a realtor. Like, why did you ask me to come over here? And they're like, oh, my realtor can't sell. I was like, but just tell the realtor that.
Yeah.
Like, why are you telling me this? Tell the realtor that. She's like, I did. The realtor won't listen to me. She won't drop the price. It's like, okay, so what do you want me to do? I want you to buy my house. So I bought her house. It was listed at $350,000. I bought it for $245,000, right? She was more interested in selling it to me at $245,000 than I guess I would say the realtor was willing to lower the price, because the lower had principles that we had to sell the house for as much money as possible, right? Regardless of what the homeowner wants.
Right.
I need to sell it for as much as possible. Homeowner's like, I need cash today. So I bought it. Turns out she never canceled the listing. So
Oh,
still have to pay the agent.
dang.
no, that's what she sued. The realtor sued me for was for the commissions.
Yeah.
Right? I said, no, I don't owe you the commissions. If you want to get the commissions, if you want to go back to that homeowner that you couldn't sell their house and sue her, that's your business, right? And she did. She lost, but she also included me in that lawsuit, right? But again, a realtor had a homeowner that needed to sell, who told the realtor, I need to sell my house now so I can go spend the last month of my mom's life together with her.
Sure.
And instead of listening to the homeowner, I need to sell this house for as much as possible because that's the realtor mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not definitely serving anybody there.
Nope. In their best interest.
Yeah.
What's their best interest? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different for every single situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's wild. Most
Get your
realtors
questions in the chat, guys.
Yeah. We'll take the next 23 minutes.
The thing
answer
too
one.
also for this is that wholesalers, when you get into the business and you're in it for 2 or 3 years, you do realize that not even 2-3 years, maybe 6 months, you get to a point where you realize as a wholesaler, you need agents to scale your business, because you can't be going out there and landing every single deal for the rest of your life by doing only cold calling. Right. Like Brent does direct to seller, I'm direct to seller, but we sprinkle in relationships with
100%.
agents and with probate attorneys and other referrals.
Look at guy Kevin Cho right now. He's murdering it on the MLS.
Yeah.
Murdering it.
Primarily expired listings, but yes. And I'm the buyer on all those deals.
The no equity stuff too. The stuff that's
Yeah.
no equity. You're buying a lot of them.
I'm buying all of them. I challenged Kevin this year. I said, I will say yes to every deal you send me because I want a 22-year-old to make $600,000 this year. As long as the assignment fee is appropriate, I will say yes to every deal. He sent me a deal in Texas. I've never bought a deal in this town. I go, yes. But next time you send me one in that town, it's no. Arizona. So I closed 2 deals with him yesterday. He just got another deal in Glendale. I'll buy 50 rentals this year from Kevin Cho, sub 3%. He's a 22-year-old doing nothing but expired listings and low equity. The magic list really is, if you're going after creative finance, is working with agents over 100 days on the market.
Yeah, it's great. 90 days on market, no equity, owned for 2 years or less. Yep. That deal is impossible, very difficult to sell because it's got there's probably not even enough equity in the house to pay the agents. But quite often the house is not in a condition that's going to get the value that they even owe on it. Mm-hmm. And so Pace might need to do $5,000 or $10,000 worth of, maybe $5,000 worth of updating, or $10,000 worth of updating in that. Because remember, it just traded 2 years ago. Yeah. So it's going to be in good condition. It may not be in perfect condition, right? But if he's getting a 2.5% note on there, look at that. Look at owning that thing over the next 30 years, right? How much would you have paid in interest on a 6% note for that house? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if Pace is paying slightly above market value today, you stretch that out over some time, he's actually stealing the house.
Have you ever bought a house with a mortgage?
Like his own mortgage, like on his credit?
Morby buying this house.
I'm in the process right now. Okay. I'm going to just tell you guys why I think it's total bullshit. I'm so sorry. So I want to buy in Kalispell. I've wanted to buy in Kalispell for a while. I want a lake house. Jerry and I were kind of racing each other like 3-4 years ago. Like, hey, let's see who can buy in Montana first. He beat me. He bought 2 houses next to each other. Mm-hmm. So this summer I'm like, all right, I'm going to go take a month. Jamil and I are going to be in Montana for a month, hanging out. Not a month, but a couple of days, probably.
You'll be there longer.
I'll be here. I'll be there a month. You'll be there a couple of days.
I'm coming at the end of the trip.
So this is what I did. I went out and I have a student in Kalispell. He just joined, and he goes, Pace, I'm an agent. I've never seen a creative finance deal ever once in Kalispell. I don't think they exist. Mm-hmm. And I go, let's race. Mm-hmm. Who's your preferred lender? He says, this lady. I'll show you the day that we applied for this. Okay. Let's type in mortgage. It's probably the only time I've ever once said, Cross Country Mortgage, shout out. Okay. So on March 8th is when I started this process with her. Still haven't even got approved. Okay. Jamil. No, it was not me. How long did it take for you to get approved for your deal in LA? Or not approved, but like all the way done.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Once you found the property to close.
I found the property in June. I closed the property December 19th. July, August,
and
September,
it was the
October,
lender
November,
that was the
December.
issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Bro, I make millions of dollars.
Yes.
I'm talking about a house that I'm going to have a $9,000 payment on.
So hold on. I'm almost done. So I start on March 8th with this lady. She's still asking. She asked me for a litany. I didn't even know that word until 2 weeks ago. Until my bookkeeper said, wow, what a litany of things. A list of things. My whole team gets it to her. She comes back, another list. Comes back 3 days later, another list. In that 6 or 7 days, this agent, who's a brand new creative investor, finds me 12 deals in Kalispell. You want to see the one that I chose? Do you want to see
Are you
it?
buying a house
I'm buying
on the water?
I'm buying a house.
On the water?
No, I probably end up buying a house in the water, but on the water. But this one will
I'm
be
glad not in the water.
That's a boat.
right here.
If it's isolated or surrounded by water, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So he finds a deal. He finds a deal that I say yes to in 12 days, but he found 12 deals in 12 days, and this is the one that I said yes to. And it's a $4 million home up in Whitefish Mountain. So I'll end up, here's the contract, here's all the stuff. And the $4 million, 3% down, 3% seller finance, 30-year note, no balloon. And he goes, "You've proven me wrong." And he goes,
Say it again. What's the terms?
Here, I'll put you $4 million, 3% down, so 120 grand down, 3% interest, 30-year note, no balloon. Here's the property right here.
The seller owns it free and clear.
Seller owns it free and clear. And I'll end up Airbnb-ing it. My payment will be like 15 grand to the seller. And the property will end up bringing about 30 grand a month. It's gorgeous.
So going back to my question.
On market.
No, the answer is no.
So the reason why I bring this up is right now, right? He's talking about buying creative. You're talking about, 2.5%, 3%, whatever. Brent, do you know what is the most stressful day for a realtor when they're closing a deal? What's the deal like? What is it? What's the one document you're like afraid of on closing day?
It's been too long, Steve.
There's a Truth in Lending Act,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it says like you're buying this house for, 30,
When it shows you what you actually pay for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
right?
When it shows you the actual, if you paid the whole 30-year mortgage, what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
it's like triple what it. Yeah.
yeah. So you buy a house for $300K, right? And right now with interest rates the way they are, you're looking at like $800K probably, right? After interest and everything. But in the last few years, when interest rates were like in the threes, you buy a house at $300K, right? After everything, maybe like $450, right? So just over 30 years, how about $450K versus $800K? Pace is stealing these houses,
I'm stealing them.
right? If he's getting 3% interest.
The ARV on that house.
The ARV on this house is $3.4 million.
You're paying how much?
3.9. I'm paying 500 grand over ARV over the course of this loan. Forget about my cash flow. Forget about my tax benefits. Like think about the tax benefits alone. I will get $1 million write-off this year alone just on that property. Forget about all that. Over the course of 30 years, I probably underpaid $2 million for that property.
Yeah.
Somebody else with a 6% interest loan would have paid $2 million more than I would have, is the point you're making.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Truth in Lending Act, though. That's interesting.
Hey, it's actually beneficial to be friends with a realtor.
Yes, I know.
We have some questions in the chat. One of the questions in the chat I think each of us could answer is, how much money do you need to get started in wholesaling?
Is that really a
How much
question?
would you say?
I mean, zero.
It depends on your strategy, right?
Right.
So
to get started,
yes,
all you need is grit and hustle. You don't need anything else.
I would agree. There's a lot of ways that you can get involved in wholesaling. My initial thought is if you're brand new and you've never done a deal before, you have, how many people do we have on the live right now? 700? 751. Almost 750 whatever people watching the live right now. Someone in the chat, hundreds likely in the chat, would love to work with you to get started, right? People are constantly JVing, collaborating with each other in the comments of Wholesale Hotline, moving on to make tens of thousands of dollars with each other. Try to get involved in a co-wholesale JV opportunity with another wholesaler so you can start understanding and learning how to value houses, right? Really, really start to get your feet wet and cut your teeth on understanding value. It's not as important for you to go out and do your first deal as it is for you to understand the numbers behind your first deal. Too many people are chasing the check and they're not chasing the education to learn what things are worth. As I said earlier in today's podcast, the person who becomes the most valuable individual in a wholesale business is somebody who can understand value. That's it.
Let me just put it another way. And I've said this before, and it's not a popular opinion, right? But I would say if I was starting over brand new today, right? I don't know anything about real estate. I got a W-2 job. Hey,
Guess what it is?
Go ahead.
Work for somebody.
Absolutely. Right? I would say, hey, Pace, can I work for you? Brent, can I work for you? Jamil, can I work for you? I will work for you, get paid by you guys to learn how to do this business from you guys.
Brent, how much does your guy make? He makes more than 6 figures, I imagine.
Acquisitions?
Yeah.
150 and 200.
Freaking. And they have a pretty kick-ass schedule, I imagine.
It's an incredible schedule.
Yeah. So
but they didn't start out that way. I mean, most of that is performance based. Right.
It absolutely is performance based. But why should I go in? I mean, I talked about earlier about getting into credit card debt, which again, that's what I did. Right. But there's absolutely nothing wrong. Like, just go back to the agent model, right? As a brand new realtor leaving real estate school, right? You have a couple of different options. You can go work for a broker and learn absolutely nothing, or you can go join a team of successful realtors and learn from them all those skills
and get some leads
and not come out of pocket, right?
And
same thing.
Go on their appointments and see what they do and how they react.
Learn how they run their appointments.
An apprenticeship.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not do the same thing here in wholesaling?
I think the problem is wholesalers are naturally ultra entrepreneurial.
Sure.
So we've got Jasperson, who I don't know if he's in here today, but he was on Get Creative, my podcast, and he kept asking all these questions. I go, bro, you have such great questions. Go link. Where do you live? He tells me where he lives. I go link in with Tevin, one of my students, and go work for him until you get your first deal. Gets his first deal the next day, makes $9,000, literally the next day. And then guess what he did? He went and worked for, he came in to Sub2, he joined the mentorship, and he goes, all right, now what should I do? I go, you think you're going to reinvent the wheel right now? Like, bro, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I want to be a business owner. I'm like, best thing to do is watch another business owner. So he went and worked for Dan Quijano, and he does a deal a week. Like, being a part of a healthy business and seeing how they operate, both the goods and the bads, helps you in 12 months, 18 months, 24 months to go out and do your own thing.
You can have an entrepreneurial spirit working in somebody else's business. Yes. Without a doubt. That's all real estate agents are.
Yeah.
Every single time, you're independent contractors. And the place I get my hair cut, they have to sweep floors for 2 years before they're allowed to cut hair.
Yeah.
2 years apprenticeship, right? And they make like 70 or 80K, which is great.
Yeah.
But we can make that on a deal. And people are like, no, I'm just going to figure this out.
So I got a text message earlier today. Someone who used to work for me, one of his entrepreneurial spirits, who decided to go off on his own, right? I thought a little prematurely.
I know all of them.
Yeah. So, but he sent me a text message today. It was pretty nice. And it was basically, he was saying like, look, I didn't realize when I was there what I had, and the fact that you made it look so easy made it so that I thought I can go do it on my own. I didn't realize all those challenges, all those hardships you have to go through to run this business. And so I would say for everyone else, right, you can go do this of your own. You can watch YouTube videos. I think that's a great avenue as well. But don't rule out immediately working for somebody else and learning and getting paid well on their dollar.
Yeah. Also, the thing about working, if you are entrepreneurial and you go work in a wholesale business, and let's just say it's commission based, right? The beautiful thing is you get to plug into another company's systems and already they know this works because it's working for them. So you get to jump in and learn how they do it. But because it's commission based, you're already learning how to be accountable to yourself. And you're because you've got that accountability, it's pushing you into discipline, right? And so it's one of the most incredible ways to get started in this is going and finding a good operation to go work with. Just know if you are going to plan on leaving, just be honest with that company and say, I'll give you 12 months or I'll give you 6 months. Or I have a desire to do this on my own at some point, but I really want to learn and I really want to be a part of this, and I'm willing to give you my time in order to get that experience. But don't be the guy who goes in and says, hey, I have a desire to work for you and I want to learn and I want to grow with you and I want to be a part of this organization and I want to become management here and I want to do all these things in here. Meanwhile, in the back, you're like, how do I steal this company's buyers list?
Yeah.
Or how do I make connections with people so I can go off and do this on my own? Because if you're that person, just know that energy finds you. That energy will always find you, and you can't hide your heart. You can't. You can't.
Yeah. Couple of positions I'm hiring for, just so you guys know. If you guys are in Arizona, I'm hiring for Facebook management. If you guys are interested, you can pick a market. Help me manage one of our Facebook groups, and you can do all the deals that come through that Facebook group in that market as a side benefit of being in that position full time. Good salary plus bonuses. I'm also looking for somebody to be in my lending business as a full-time salesperson. So if you guys are, I'm going to end up hiring one of Jason's people, a Canadian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Killers.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great. Thank you for that. At least 14 to 40% of what I know came from my relationship with Brent Daniels.
That's a big range.
Well, I wasn't sure where the overlap. There's a lot of overlap too of like, you've taught me some of the same stuff, right? But you know what? I remember how naive I was when I came out of the 3 or 4 years I was in Homevestors. I came in, sat down at Brent Daniels' office, and I said, where the heck do all these deals come from? These deals are going to run out.
Mm-hmm.
All these wholesalers running around. Are there going to be enough deals for me to go out and scale my business? Do you remember that conversation I had with you?
It's a conveyor belt.
It's
unlimited supply. There are more ugly properties, and they're getting uglier by the day.
Well, yeah, because your next, the deal that you're going to do next year has somebody smoking meth in it right now.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
That's very true.
Yes.
That should go on a
Sorry,
t-shirt.
I know that was a terrible thing to say, but it's real.
Also, do you guys know real estate agents are probably the best at creative finance? Think about it. As a broker, you bring people onto your brokerage, okay? 0 down, 0% seller finance.
Mm-hmm.
Their time, their resources, their friends, their family, and you go out and get those listings.
Mm-hmm.
They go out, spend their gas money, their time, their energy. They get a contract. They go sell that property. Who gets paid first before the agent does?
The broker. It goes through the broker.
Is that not creative finance?
The agent doesn't get paid until it goes through the broker.
Is that not the greatest form of creative finance? Agents and brokers are the greatest creative finance investor of all time. How can I get an army of human beings to go out and do the work for me with no money?
Build my brand.
And build my brand and not cost me any money out of pocket. And I get paid before they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to fix a couple of your misconceptions there. As a person that owned a brokerage, I can certainly assure you. I can certainly assure you
they're
expenses.
They're called broker because they're broker than the agents for sure.
Brokers don't make shit.
Yeah. Is there a way to make money as a broker?
Yeah, you start a title company. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, you
and a mortgage company.
Own a title, okay, but as a broker itself, can you make?
You could build it up and sell it to the big conglomerates that own brokerages.
Yeah,
but that's the exception.
You can typically, in my experience, the brokers that sell as well are the ones that really do well.
So anytime I hear someone says, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a brokerage," my first few words is, "Let me stop you right there."
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a terrible idea. Nothing good will come from this. And I'm happy to sit with you as long as it's necessary to talk you off that ledge.
Yeah, build a team, build a company.
Wholesale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wholesale.
Speaking about wholesale. Okay.
Yeah.
When is this event happening?
April 15th and 16th. This is the last week that people can register. If you are not registered for the Growth Summit 2023.com, growthsummit2023.com, this is the last week to register. So make sure that you get in there. It's here in Mesa. I want you there. Oh, okay. Can you show up?
Probably.
Good. Want you there.
All right.
Haven't seen you in a while. So I'm going to rope you into this. But if you could come to the VIP Saturday, I think a tremendous amount of people will get value.
Where
from the
have you been, by the way?
Done.
If you could arm wrestle with your calves, you'd win.
I posted some photos.
When you guys meet Steve Trang, ask him to see his legs. Okay, they're legit.
My trainer actually has asked me if I can post photos, right, to promote
his company of your calves.
Your calves, like his logo on your calves, like a tattoo.
I should ask for a sponsorship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That should be all over his social media. It's just your calves.
So you have VIP. Obviously, I'm seeing Jade Vaughn saying that she's got VIP.
Yeah, VIP is sold out.
Oh, can you just open up 5 more spots? Or is that not possible?
For who?
For the VIPs, for the people that want to be, for the people. No, Jade's already got it.
I don't know technically how we do that. But yeah, if the next 5 people.
The next 5 people?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What's your cell phone so they can text you that they got?
It's actually my office line is 1-800 Boys.
The Hot Boys
with a Z.
I believe it's
Okay.
239-106.
Hey,
I do want to point out that Pace and I have very limited our travel. Yep. We're over the next year going to select events that are going to be very, very, very worthwhile for the community, and we'll be doing pop-ups in different spots. This Growth Summit is one of those events that Pace and I, Steve Trang, have not only made a commitment to be at, but like we are going to be there in full spirit, full force, understanding that our brother here is going to put on a world-class opportunity for you guys to connect, to really, really be a part of each other's businesses. It's going to be bananas.
It's going to be bananas.
Yeah, a lot of the. Let's just be honest. A lot of the events are style, but not substance. This is going to be both. It's going to be absolutely incredible from the people that it's not theory based. We're actually doing this business. All right. Hate to break it to you on some of these events that are going on right now. It's theory based. Okay.
Yeah.
This is real. You can implement into your business. You don't want to miss it. You'll be 6 months behind in our industry.
I'm going to argue, not anything you just said, but I'm going to argue that the substance is definitely there, but you should not be going for the substance. If I were you, I'd be going for the connections and the network.
That's what I mean.
You're going to get private money. Yep. You're going to get Sub 2, Astro, TTP, Steve Trang, sales trained students all in one place, a conglomerate of badasses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also Zuli Mogul. Damn, I wish my last name was Mogul.
I wish my first name was Zuli.
So,
yeah, right.
Will you be in Orlando before the Bigger Pockets conference? So, the coolest thing I think that we're doing this year, you're in on this?
Of course.
Okay.
The park.
We are going to Astro, Jerry Norton. If you guys want to come out, you're welcome to come out. I don't know if you can, but October, 3rd week of October, Bigger Pockets is happening in Orlando, and we are getting Sub 2 and Astro and Jerry Norton all to go out to Disney World for the day after Bigger Pockets. Big community day, doing nothing but scavenger hunts, breaking up his teams, winning points based on what rides you go on and what things that you get accomplished during the day, and having just a big team building day out there. So guys, stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's my point of bringing that up is you want to come for the connections. Mm-hmm. The information is a lot more applicable when you actually have people to apply it with. Yep. Steve Trang.
Yes.
What do you have coming up? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you have going on?
Well, this Thursday and Friday, we have our live sales training. So salesdisruptors.com, we have 2 full days in my office. This is the first time we're going to be doing it over 2 days. When I first did my sales training, it was like a couple hours. Mm-hmm. Then we want more, so it became a day.
Is there a website people can learn from you on? Because I want to just say, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to say, so Steve, you came in to speak at the Astro Flipping Mastermind, and so we always survey people at the end. You know, what did you really enjoy? Of course. You know, I always hear Pace, mine, Brent, mine. But Steve, you had a lot of fans. A lot of people said that they really, really felt that what Steve delivers in terms of sales training is like top tier. So how do people learn about your sales training, Steve?
I mean, the best place is salesdisruptors.com. We have all our information there. Just bought that URL. Pretty fortunate.
I like it.
And so, yeah, we go over at our event, 2 full days. And again, we had to expand it because people were asking for more. Like they felt like a day was too short, a day and a half. The last time we did was a day and a half. They thought that was too short. So now it's 2 full days going over our sales process, dealing with homeowners. So we got that coming up, and then Pace is actually coaching me a little bit right now. So I invited Pace in my office. It was not for a principal conversation. That was a completely different conversation before. But Pace came in and offered some insight on how I can build my community. So that's something I'm going to be rolling out in the next couple of months. I'm super excited.
So we can all be clear, that community is going to be called Crazy Rich Asians, right?
If crazyrichasians.com is available, we will call it Crazy Rich Asians.
Awesome.
Well, see, there was a movie about that.
Yeah.
It was actually called Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay, Jamil, what do you have coming up this week? It's a big one. By the way, do you know how many?
Gosh, bro, I'm in my first challenge with my bro.
A joint challenge
that I'm doing with my brother. First time we're actually doing this together. We've already got 10,000 people registered for it. MyAIchallenge.com. Guys, go to MyAIchallenge.com. Pace and I are collaborating, teaming up together to help anyone who might just be getting started in the business that's having a hard time with their lead generation, that is having a hard time keeping up with their follow-ups, because you get all inspired. One day you watch Wholesale Hotline. Tomorrow you wake up, you start making phone calls, you talk to 50 real estate agents, and then never talk to them again. Garbage. So we're going to help those people who are just getting started that need help with lead gen, need help with follow-up, and we're going to bring in a whole swag of really experienced people to help the unexperienced people get deals done. Go to MyAIchallenge.com, a joint Astro Sub 2 event. Incredible. Thousands of people are going to be there. If you are not in that, guys, just imagine being in a virtual event with thousands of like-minded people who want to do deals with you. If you are not at this challenge, you messed up.
So there's a MyAIchallenge.com.
It is at the end of the month, so it starts
it's this week. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning. So real quick, I know we're a couple minutes late. There's software that runs these like challenges, and it's somewhat inexpensive. But the problem with those software is that you cannot bring people up and actually interact with them and bring them on the stage. And so we took my Zoom account, which caps out at 5,000. And we upgraded my Zoom account from 5,000 to 10,000. It cost us $26,000 this week to upgrade that Zoom account for the year. And we did that for this challenge. It's free. It's the fastest challenge I've ever done. Most of my challenges are 4 hours a day, 3 days in a row, 12 hours total. This challenge is an hour and a half each day for 3 days. Okay, so it's 4.5 hours, because basically you're not having to learn anything. AI is basically doing all the upfront work for you.
It is such an incredible. It is just wild what Pace and I are bringing to the community to be able to like take their whatever is going on that's holding them back. Oftentimes it's lead gen, and then on the other side of that, it's just time management and having no time in the day to do the business, to do the follow-ups, to actually harvest the fruit. I look at it this way. Anytime you're doing business, lead gen, okay? Lead gen to me is like, if you look at the analogy of a farm, okay? Lead generation to me is planting seeds, okay? But follow-up is sunshine and water. If you do not have sunshine and water, guess what you don't have? A crop. Yep. So MyAIchallenge.com, Pace and I are going to be teaching people how to grow your deals, baby. Let's go.
Last thing, I'm so sorry. I'm hogging the mic.
Are you sorry?
No. We want to start giving a lot more to our community. I'm going to tell you guys, Jamil and I both donated to a charity in November of last year. And
$150,000 each.
$150,000 each. And I felt super excited and pumped up about it because it was a great and worthy cause. We don't need to go down that conversation. But I immediately came home with Jamil and I said, we should have been giving that money to our local community.
Absolutely.
We should have been giving that to our students. We should have been buying lists and doing those types of things. Guys, we're going to be doing a lot more charitable things like today, giving away that van. I just got a text message from Caroline, who was with me when we gave, by the way, thank you for bringing Caroline into my world. She's been, Caroline Kane. Shout out Caroline Kane. Anybody know Caroline Kane? Shout out Caroline. Isn't she the freaking dopest? Oh my gosh. Thank you for bringing her into my life. We ended up giving a van today away we paid $11,000 for it on Saturday, cash, car seats, AAA membership, gas for a year, car insurance for a year. And we gave her groceries for, I think, 3 months. Yeah. And I'm sitting here looking at, I don't want to donate to charities anymore. I just want to donate to our local community, or not our local community, but our community that we're all bringing together. And I'm so grateful for our collaboration. Steve Trang, I love you.
I like you too.
He likes me too. You've done a lot for me. I appreciate you tremendously. I would not be even 1/10 of who I am today without you. Jamildamji, I love you.
I love you, bro.
Brent Daniels, I love you. Really appreciate you. You've done so much for me. And we want to be giving you guys a lot more. So thank you guys for staying with us all the way through 163 episodes. And here's to many, many more.
And they can listen. You can listen to the podcast every single day. This is just one show on the podcast. Wholesale Hotline, 180,000 downloads last month. Can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. So check it out. And we throw into the mix there Jerry Norton, which just, it goes bananas. We should give him a day too. It'd be go bananas.
I stayed out with Jerry Norton until 1 o'clock in the morning.
What?
We talking about how to make babies?
What did you guys do? Eat ice cream?
We did talk about making babies, and we did talk about we had ice cream. We went to Nobu until 8, and then we hung out at my house until 1 o'clock in the morning and just talked about marital stuff and relationships and family. And I just am so grateful for my brothers, all of you guys.
Yeah.
I would not be anywhere without our collaboration. I love you guys.
Boys.
Thank you
What's
guys.
up? Love you guys.
And that's it.
Wholesale Hotline, we out.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.